Hello, dear students. Very good morning to all of you. And I hope all of you and your family members are safe at your home. Please stay at your home and please don't go anywhere without any genuine reason. And this is the golden chance for you people to learn from home, as we are having the concept that work from home. Same way, you all will get a chance, or all of you are having a chance to stay at your home and learn. And this is also one of the great experience during this pandemic where we can experience this kind of studies from home also. So now let us start with the subject. As you all know, I am Vaibhav Shah and I am teaching you the subject economics, and today we are going to discuss about the wealth and welfare. As we all know that both of this topic, that is wealth and welfare, is totally contrary and it is opposite of each other, but still, as it is given in a subject economics in this way, so we have to learn by this way only. So let us start point number 2.4, page number 13, and topic name is wealth and welfare. The concepts of wealth and welfare frequently appear in economic discussions and are very important in economics and hence must be clearly understood at this stage. As you all know that this chapter is about the fundamental concepts and terminologies, in which till the day we discussed about the meaning of price and value, types of value, that is exchange value and use value, and then lastly we discuss about the types of goods and services, and today onwards we are going to discuss about the wealth and welfare topic. So the concept of wealth and welfare frequently appear in economic discussion. As we all of you are commerce students, the concept of wealth and welfare is very much important for you people, and whenever you will be going to discuss anything about the commerce and management, both of this topic is useful in your terminologies. So these are very important in economics and hence must be clearly understood at this stage, because it will be helpful in your further studies also. So first of all, let us discuss about the meaning and characteristics of wealth. Since the time when Adam Smith gave the definition of economics in the context of wealth, the subject of wealth became extremely important in economics. As we have skipped the chapter number 1, that is the basic introduction of economics, so we are unaware about the Adam Smith and his contribution in the subject of economics. But Adam Smith is the one who focused on the wealth of a nation, or he has given a definition that is based on the wealth of a nation, and his definition is also known as wealth definition. So, since the time when Adam Smith gave the definition of economics in the context of wealth, it means he has focused on the wealth aspects of a national economy. The subject of wealth become extremely important in economics. Basically, the four authors, that is Adam Smith, Lionel Robbins, Alfred Marshall, and Robertson, are the one, or all these authors have given their different definitions regarding the subject economics, which we are going to discuss in chapter number 1. But Adam Smith was the oldest economist, first of all, who has given the definition of economics in his book, that is The Causes of Wealth of a Nation, which was published in 1776. So now let us discuss the meaning of the wealth. In the understanding of Alfred Marshall's idea, wealth is something which is useful, scarce, capable of getting exchanged, and can be owned by somebody. This is the full-fledged and detailed discussion, or the detailed meaning of wealth, which is given by Alfred Marshall. You have to remember all the names of all the economists who have contributed in different subjects and different topics of economics. So here also you have to understand and learn and remember about the Alfred Marshall's idea. So now let us discuss what is wealth. Wealth is something which is useful. So whether it is any kind of product, that is goods or services, or any kind of idea, or any kind of health or help which we can give others for the usefulness. As we all knows that in our basic terms, the wealth is one which gives the prestige value or which increases your status quo. But as we all knows, the usefulness of all the wealth, that is the land, jewelry, four wheeler, etc., is very less, but their prestige value is very high, and that's why we are using in the broader sense in the economics and routine life, and that's why the wealth is associated with something which is useful in our daily life, whether it is useful in the exchange value or in the use value. Then scarce. Have you ever have you ever wondered, or have you ever thought that why the water is not that much valuable in the terms of exchange value? Why the oxygen is not that much, or even why the iron and gold, as both of these are the metal, then also the value of iron is very low while the value of gold is very high. Why the gold is a precious metal and iron is not? It is because of the scarcity. As we all knows that the availability and extraction of iron is easy to get. It means it can be available in many of the sources, and it fulfill our demands in any manner. It means there is equalization between the demand and supply. While the gold itself is a scarce, it means the total supply of gold is not able to fulfill the demand of the public, and that's why the value of gold is very high, and that's why the gold is termed as a one of the element of wealth. So first of all, in the wealth, the first one is something which is useful, second one is something which is scarce, third one something which is capable of getting exchange. It means if you are having anything in terms of a wealth, like if you are having a valuable or a big house which can be delivered to someone else, if you are having a gold jewelry or shares or bonds or any kind of physical assets which can be termed as wealth, but when you can't give it to others or when you can't exchange it with anyone, then there is no wealth, and then there is no value of that particular wealth. It means the capable of getting exchange is the utmost important element of the wealth. As we all know that in today's era, the idea of some of the people are very important, or we can say it is very valuable. Like all the marketing managers are working for the promoting their products, so they are selling their ideas only. All the teachers who are working in the field are providing the service in terms of the knowledge. So knowledge is the wealth for them. When they are exchanging with you people, that is when the teachers are exchanging their knowledge with the students, then it becomes a wealth. So the wealth which is useful, scarce, and capable of getting exchange, if you can't exchange that particular thing, then it never be a wealth. And lastly, can be owned by somebody. The thing which is freely available or which is of free cost is no more valuable, and it cannot be said as a wealth. But when it is owned by somebody, when it is in the possession of someone, or when there is a role of excludability is there, then and then it becomes the wealth. So it means there should be someone who is the owner or who is having the owning rights of that particular product or idea or anything which is considered as a wealth. So when any of the one element or more than one element is missing amongst all these four elements, it can never be said as a wealth. So in any of the thing, wealth is something which is useful, which is scarce, which is capable of getting exchange, and can be owned by somebody. Then and then it becomes a wealth. whether it is in the form of goods, services, ideas, or anything else than this type of goods. Now let us discuss the characteristics of wealth. The following characteristics can be derived about wealth. So basically these characteristics are useful for knowing which are the elements which is termed as a wealth and which are the elements which are not termed as a wealth or which is not in our particular questions or in condition. So first, that is 2.5.1 is it should possess the characteristics of usefulness. It must be useful in satisfying human wants or needs. And therefore, goods which are useful in satisfying needs of human being are wealth. For example, house, vehicle, precious jewelry, etc. So as we discussed above, in the meaning that all the things which are useful, scarce, capable of getting exchange, or we can say the can be owned by somebody are called wealth. But now let us discuss some of the important characteristics of wealth which will be useful in identifying the things which are termed as a wealth. The first is it should possess the characteristics of usefulness which we already discussed in detail, but then also let us discuss it again. It must be useful in satisfying human wants or needs. As I have mentioned that whether these needs are usefulness or we can say the use value or exchange value, but when these goods are useful in satisfying human wants or human needs, that is either it will be helpful in filling your poverty or for some kind of goods which will be useful for better living, for comfort, for luxuries, or for the necessities. But when it provides a something satisfaction to the person who is using them, then it becomes a wealth. Therefore, goods which are useful in satisfying needs of a human being are wealth. For example, house. As we all know that house is necessary for staying or it is some kind of shelter which gives protection. Vehicle, which is the comfort and which gives the comfort when we are moving from one place to another place, or precious jewelry is useful for your prestige and status quo. In all these three examples, the needs or the wants of a particular person is different. But when all these three things are fulfilling the need of or satisfying the human needs, then we can term these three things as a wealth. So whenever it is asked in your examination that explain the meaning of wealth with some of the examples, then you have to mention the meaning which you have already discussed and that is given by Alfred Marshall. And in example you can write this house, vehicle and precious jewelry, etc. Now let us move forward to point number second, that is it should be scarce. Those commodities which are scarce in supply in relation to demand and possess exchange value besides being useful are called wealth. Goods which are useful but not scarce and do not have exchange value like sunlight and air are not called wealth in economics. So basically we discussed about the scarcity or what is scarce and why the value of all those material which are easily available is very less in the above point. Then also let us discuss this point in a detail. So those commodities which are scarce in supply in relation to demand and possess exchange value besides being useful are called wealth. So all those goods which are available in a plenty or we can say in a abundant supply, so their value is very negligible in the minds of the consumer or in the minds of the citizens. So all those commodities which are scarce in supply, and one of the human behavior is that also he or she always wants that goods only which are having very high value or which we can say which are very scarce in terms of the supply. So those commodities which are scarce in supply in relation to their demand. As we all knows that gold is never useful for the necessity of life, or it never fulfills, or it never finish your hungerness. But then also, due to the prestige value, the demand of gold is very high. While there are some of the areas in India or in other countries also there which are providing the supply of gold. But then also today, even with the higher demand, the supply of gold is very limited, and that's why the demand for that particular good is very high, and that's why it is termed as a wealth. At the same time, the iron is also one of the metal, but it is very highly useful in other industrial purpose, and it is useful in machineries and all also. But then also their supply is very high, and that's why the iron as a metal is not considered as a wealth. So if the supply in relation to their demand is very less, then and then it only possesses the element or characteristics of wealth. Along with that, the possesses exchange value besides being useful are called wealth. So only usefulness is not important here. There should be some of the element of exchange value is also there. It means your wealth will be termed in any of the measurement, whether it is in the money or in the terms of prestige value. As we all know that the price of the vacant land or the houses, that is either tenements or apartments or flats, are increasing day by day, because as more and more people are moving towards the city area and they are demanding a house with basic facilities, as their demand is very high, but as the supply of land is very limited, and along with that the construction work will take some of the more time, that is the gestation period of constructing a house is a high, and that's why their supply in terms of their demand is very less, and that's why the price of houses are increasing, and that is why the houses are considered as a wealth. So not only the usefulness, but their exchange value is also important here, because if the goods are very useful, like it is given in a textbook also, goods which are useful but not scarce, it means they are useful in terms of the human life, or which are very much important for the human life, but they do not have any exchange value. And consider this thing, that why there is no exchange value of any good, because it is available either in abundant supply, or their value in terms of the necessity of life is less. So goods which are useful but not scarce and do not have exchange value, it means all those goods which are scarce but do not have exchange value, like sunlight, as you all knows that sunlight is very necessity for the human life, and air are useful for the life, but as they do not possess any kind of exchange value, as it is available by free of cost by the nature, then they are not called wealth in economics. So here we have discussed 2 points, that the supply in relation to their demand will be scarce, and if the possess exchange value, then and then it is called wealth. If any of the element among these two is not there, then it is not called as a wealth. Now let us discuss the third point, that is it should have physical or intellectual existence. Wealth should have an existence which can be exchanged. The ability to understand the aptitudes of human beings, their physical abilities, etc., are the innate abilities and assets of human beings, and are usually not exchanged. In today's world, however, the intellectual abilities of human beings, like the ability to create new ideas, are exchanged for money in the market, and hence the intellectual ability to create novel ideas and goods is called wealth. Yet, the ability of a scientist to think is her quality and not wealth, but the novel idea created by the scientist is wealth. So, the point number 3 is clearing so many doubts regarding the wealth, and it is one of the important characteristics which suggests that it should have a physical, it means the thing which can be seen or which is able to touch or touchable is called physical, or intellectual, it means it is the notion of a mind, or we can say some kind of mentality, or we can say some of the novel ideas of the mind is also called as a wealth if it fulfills the above two characteristics or above two conditions. So now let us discuss this point in detail also. Wealth should have an existence which can be exchanged. As we have already discussed in the meaning that wealth should be something which is useful, scarce, and can be able to exchange. So third one is here that wealth should have an existence which can be exchanged with anyone. Either they are required it, or it is their necessity or their want satisfying power. The ability to understand the aptitude of human beings, their physical abilities, etc., are the innate abilities and assets of human being, and they are usually not exchanged. As we all knows that in our classroom also there are some of the students who are capable to understand everything very quickly. Their grasping power is very high, so they can understand each and every point very easily and within a short span of time. While there is some of the students who are literally suffering from all this particular, means they are suffering from the lack of all these abilities, and they are struggling to understanding the concepts which are discussing in the classroom. So the ability to understand the aptitudes of human being, it means your skills, your abilities, your capacity to work, etc., everything, their physical abilities, as we all are seeing, or as we all are knowing that the physical ability of the different persons are also different. Some of the persons are having a very strong physical abilities, or they are having a very strong physics also, while some of the persons are not able to stay even for a longer period of time, or we can say they are very weak. So the ability to understand the aptitudes of human beings, their physical abilities, etc., are the innate abilities. It means it is inherent, or we can say it is in that person from the starting or by birth. And assets, if it is in your favor, that means your ability to understanding is very high, your aptitude is also very high, and your physical abilities is also high, it means you are stronger than others, then these are the assets of your human beings and are usually not exchanged. Think about this. These are the assets, or these are the wealth which cannot be exchanged with anyone. So as it is having all the other characteristics of wealth, that it is the useful in your routine life, and as it is scarce also, but when it is not able to exchange with anyone, it is not termed as a wealth. It is wealth for that person only, but when it is not exchanged or transferred to anyone, we cannot say that this is the wealth for everyone. So if it lacking third element, that it is capable of exchanging, then it is not wealth. So here the capable of exchanging is not there, and that's why it is not termed as a wealth. Now let us move forward. In today's world, however, the intellectual abilities of human beings, like the ability to create new ideas, are exchanged for money in the market, and hence the intellectual ability to create novel ideas and goods is called wealth. As we all knows that here in today's world, there are so many people who are providing their expert services, like chartered accountants who are providing their services in financial terms, doctors who are providing their services in terms of your health, company secretaries are providing their services on terms of the incorporation and running of a companies, teachers are providing their services for the betterment and for career building. So in today's world, however, the intellectual ability, it is means the capacity of mind, the capacity of thinking, the capacity of new ideas of human beings. Like, so here they have mentioned some of the intellectual abilities, like ability to create new ideas, as we all are knowing, or as we all are seeing in television also, there are different advertisement are coming with the different ideas, and sometimes we are very surprised that how this happens, or how this idea comes to in mind of any person. Then also these marketers are doing this kind of business. It means they are selling their ideas and they are exchanged for money in the market. It means they are hired by a companies for this purpose only, and they are fulfilling the purpose of a company by creating a new and innovative ideas which are helpful the companies to sell their products very quickly. So nowadays, the ability to create new ideas are exchanged for money in the market, and hence the intellectual ability to create novel ideas and goods is called wealth. So here something which is contrary to our point, that is, it should be able to exchange. So here we can't exchange our mind, but we can sell or we can exchange our ideas which are created by the mind. So mind is a matter which creates the different idea, while person who is selling this idea and getting money, or who is exchanging these ideas for the purpose of money, is called wealth. So the mind is a matter, while the ideas which can be exchanged is called wealth. Now next, yet the ability of a scientist to think is her quality and not wealth. It means when you are studying or when you are working in any of the field, then your ability to think is your quality and not wealth. But the novel idea created by the scientist is wealth. It means the novel ideas which are created by the way of this mind or by the way of this thinking is called the wealth. So it means when scientist is studying in his education life, and when he is capable of experiencing something, then it is called the creativity of that scientist by this educational qualification is called wealth. So when he is studying in a classroom, then it is not a wealth for him. Here he is learning only. But after that, when he is developing some of the ideas from that particular studies or by his experience, then it is become a wealth for him. As we are seeing that in today's world there are so many different kind of innovations and inventions are done by different scientists, as we all are wondered that how without any kind of wired connection we can talk with each other through the cellular phone. So it is one of the idea when it comes to in the mind of a scientist, but when this idea is fulfilled, it becomes a wealth for that particular person. And that's why the majority of the scientists who are who are doing different kind of experiments are taking the patent of their experiment, so that no one else can copying it and it becomes the wealth for him. And that's why in the areas of science and different areas, the as a world level we are having a Nobel Prize which will be helpful in encouraging this kind of ideas by the mind of the different people. So with this point we are concluding our session over here. The next characteristics, that is wealth, constitutes goods which are capable of exchange, and durability we will discuss in next lecture. But before we leave, let us discuss about these points in a very quickly. It means first of all we discuss about the meaning of a wealth according to Alfred Marshall's idea, wealth is something which is. So here we are having 4 different elements, that is useful, scarce, capable of getting exchange, and can be owned by somebody. Out of these 4 elements, in today's lecture, or we can say in particular this lecture, we discussed about it should possess the characteristics of usefulness, it should be scarce, and lastly it should have physical or intellectual existence that can be exchanged with others. So from point number 4 we will discuss in next lecture. You have to be ready with your fair book and one your rough book, in rough book in which you have to write each and everything or all the concepts which we are discussing during your video lectures, while in your fair book you have to write the exercise, or we can say worksheet, which is given by us during your academic sessions. Thank you very much, class.